Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Salut à tous, it's Marie from justfrenchit.com. Today together we are going to talk about what's the best way to learn French quickly, and I'm going to try to answer this question for you. Now, a lot of you ask me this question in the survey, which if you haven't done so yet, you can take, the link is in the description below the video. But I cannot answer this question, simply because it is impossible to answer this question. And actually, it is kind of the wrong question to ask. There's two problems with this question. But I get it. You don't want to be stuck. You don't want to learn French endlessly with no results. That's a great way to think, because I think that being lazy, don't take offense, is actually a quality. Because after all, what's wrong with looking for the most straightforward solutions to your problems, right? If you decided to learn French, it's not because you want to study French, although some of you might be studying French because you want to study French. But usually, most of you will want to learn French because you want to speak it. You want the end result. But listen, asking me what's the best way to learn French quickly is not going to give you the solution, because there's two problems with this question. I'm sorry to break it to you, but there's no best, perfect, for all kind of solution to learn French. Sure, there is, common things everyone needs to learn. There is common rules, grammar is the same for everyone, etc., etc. Without talking about your goals, the actual learning process is going to be different for everyone. There's plenty of different methods to learn French. It's not a question of which of these methods is the best. It is a question of which one suits you the best. Without talking about, obviously, your goals, what you want to be able to do. It's also a question of how do you learn? What's your learning style? Some people do really well with grammar and a teacher. Other ones prefer notebooks. And then you have people who pick up sentences very easily from movies and who can learn French while watching movies pretty easily. So that's one of the reasons why there's such a wide range of methods, books, and apps to learn French. None being the best. Now, obviously, there are methods that are way superior than others, especially when it comes to teaching you certain components, like grammar or listening or writing or reading, etc. The second problem with the question, what's the best method to learn French quickly, is that it kind of implies that you're looking for a quick fix. And there's no quick fix to learning French or to learning any language anyway. I know I just said there is a lot of different methods, but be careful of the methods that tell you, I'm going to teach you French in 3 weeks. No. Even people who completely immerse themselves into the French culture, in French, speaking French every day for 3 weeks, are not fluent at the end of the day. Of course, that all depends on your definition of fluency, but fluency for me, it requires a certain time and a certain acclimatization, not only to the language, but also to the culture. And 3 weeks is just not possible, especially from just one book, one teacher, one online course, one app. When you think about it, that's kind of ridiculous. Bref, stop looking for a quick fix. Looking for a quick fix is actually going to waste your time, which is the contrary of what you're looking for, right? Ooh, I can hear you asking the question already in the comments. How long does it take to learn French? Well, it depends on what you want to be able to do, because learning French is such a wide topic. If you want to achieve some sort of fluency and if you want to be comfortable speaking with natives in everyday situation, you're looking at least a year. It also depends on how many hours a day you're studying, if you already know another language that is close to French, or just simply know another language. That speeds up the process. How many occasions to practice you have, if you're in France or if you are somewhere else, if you have a teacher, etc., etc., etc. Obviously though, if your goal is only to say hello to your neighbor and talk about the weather, a year is way too much. You will get there way quicker. Alright, so remember, what's the best way to learn French quickly is not the right question to ask, because first of all, there is no best way to learn French. It all depends on your situation. And second of all, looking for a quick fix is going to waste your time. But I understand your thought process. I understand the idea behind the question. There is questions that you can ask which will take you and get you the results you are looking for when you are asking this question. How do you go from what's the best way to learn French quickly to actually getting a sense of how you should learn French? Well, let me suggest you 2 questions. The first question is, how do I select the best method for me? Yes, it is pretty similar to what's the best way to learn French quickly. But there is a twist, because instead of looking for overall best method, a perfect pill, a magic pill if you will, you are looking for the best one for you. That means that you understood that your learning process is different from everyone else, is unique. To find the best method, the answer is you should know yourself, as in you should know how you learn the best, how your brain works, what interests you, how much time you want to put into your learning, how much time you have to put into your learning, what do you want to be able to do, etc., etc. As a start, you can take my free course on how to create your own study plan, your own French study plan, in which I take you through all of those questions and we answer them together so you don't feel overwhelmed doing it all at the same time. Now, the second question I want you to ask yourself instead is, how can I be able to speak French quite quickly? Yes, I get it. If you are learning French, there's one thing that you want to be able to do, and if possible in the shortest amount of time, it is speaking French. So what I suggest you do is to select the method that is based on speaking. Which means if you want to be able to speak, maybe a grammar book where you are doing writing exercises all the time is not going to help you much. Speaking, I'm not saying the methods that are based on grammar are wrong, it's just another approach to learning French, and it depends on what you want to be able to do. But if you want to be able to speak, which most people who are learning French want to be able to speak French, you need to select a method that is based on speaking, that is going to teach you how to speak French. And the methods I will recommend you to take a look at are sentence mining and checking, which are barbaric names for pretty simple concepts really. I have a video on the subject. Audio training, online course, tutors, YouTube videos where you can repeat what is being said, language exchanges, etc., etc. All of those methods are based on the idea that you must practice, that you must speak, communicate as much as possible to learn. Because reading in French, for example, is not going to help your speaking much. I mean, to a certain extent, it is going to help you develop vocabulary and everything, but it's not going to make you a fluent speaker. For you to understand it fully, I always make the analogy of learning a language is a lot like learning an instrument or a sport. You can learn a lot about the theory behind an instrument, the theory behind a sport, how to read music. You can learn all the rules of football, but that doesn't make you a good player, and that doesn't make you a good musician. You have to do in order to be able to do. You can quote me on that. Now, if you want to dig deeper into how to learn French, I recommend you check out the Roadmap to Fluent French, the Create Your Own French Study Plan, and the video on French for Busy People, in which I take you through the steps of creating your own routine. Now, according to you, what's the best method to learn French quickly? Tell me in the comments. If this video was useful to you, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you vendredi for Vendredi Vocabulary on Just French It. À la prochaine!